Mr. Sammy the Bull Gravano will go down in American history as being the biggest mob rat of all times. Former member of the Gambino crime family, I think he was the underboss under John Gotti. Mr. Bull decided that he would cooperate, and in his wake left a trail of cheese crumbs that spread across the New York landscape. Like-minded individuals decided to gobble those crumbs up all the way to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Likewise, in real life, Sammy the Bull Gravano has become the mob boss of YouTube, and other former cooperators have followed his lead. Relevant here, Dom of Mafia Roundtable and Gene Borrello. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Skinny Joey Merlino, who the government says was once the boss of the Philadelphia Mafia. Reporters, YouTube people, and others will say that Joey's still running the family. I'll talk about Joey here as well. Hello, welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, please push like and share it with your family, friends, neighbors, enemies, etc. In 1997, in a town a few 20 miles away, I was arrested. Federal, local, and state authorities executed a search warrant on my property, and ultimately the government produced a one-count indictment for conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine. I'll note here that I was not a meth dealer, I was a drug dealer. I sold more coke than meth, more weed than coke. Nevertheless, I was tagged with the one-count conspiracy, and because I had 2 prior drug convictions, if I did not cooperate, the government was going to file basically the federal 3 strikes law. It's called an 851 enhancement. Ultimately, I was offered 2 years to cooperate. 2, after serving 13 months in jail. I said no, and to trial I went, and life I got. In 1998, September, I went to the United States Penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. I stayed in federal prison 23 years, 8 months and 1 day, before finally being released under a newly revised law, or under the newly revised provision of the Compassionate Release Statute, and I was let out. During my time in federal prison, I met many mob guys. Now, it's very important here to say something. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let Dom say it. But before I do, people have asked, Robert, what business is the mob of yours? Robert, why do you talk about guys from New York? Robert, why? Why? What is your deal? This channel is a prison-based channel. I got involved in talking about members of the mob some years ago. Why is it important for me to talk about members of the mob? Tell them, Dom.
You get to see the way the people are, the way they really act, and you find out who's who with the mafia, from your thugs to your just regular guys who try to portray being a thug. Their true colors come out when you're in the prison system.
As you can see, Dom says that you can see mob members' true colors in prison. And true colors of the mob members I did see. There are many people, mob fanboys, mob aficionados, Gotti gurus, people just fascinated with organized crime that want to know about mob people. But when you start saying the truth about mob guys in prison, oh my God, hair on fire. Gene, Borrello, tell us what the mob guys think of everybody. Hit it, Gene.
I'm gonna be honest and tell the public that we look down upon everybody when we're mob guys. Like, you're nothing. We run this shit. You just live here. That's it. It's how we are. It's how we're taught.
Mob guys look down on everybody, and let me tell you, they really, really do. Now, I have said on this channel, and I've been very clear, I've got nothing against the mafia. I've got nothing against gang member. I got nothing against the mafia structure, whatever. Crime, it's people. When you go to prison, you are stripped from everything, and you have to be a man. And over again, instead of men, I saw marks when it comes to members of the mafia. One of the guys that was not a mark that I know was Georgie Boy. I think they call him Georgie Boy on the street. Georgie Borghese out of Philadelphia did a video about him. And I want to add here something, Georgie. I remembered something the other day about our second day together. It was the same day that SIS officers came to you because you were complaining about the emails being held up. They put the blame on me and said I was getting too many emails. We were both on email monitoring. So it would take hours for us to get our emails. Staff went to Georgie, tried to get them to stop me from getting so many emails. He told them no. But then back in the block, there was an incident over the TV involving Mexicans, blacks, and whites. Georgie, by himself, was the white shot caller of the block. In prison, in federal prison, you have whites and you have Italians. There are some times when whites and Italians can be considered white, but in general, there's whites and there's Italians. Georgie Borghese ran MB block at Butner FCI 2 as the rep, white, Italian, whatever. He was the white rep, okay? Real man. And Georgie, I think that you should start a consulting business for made men going to prison on how not to be marks, how not to lose respect, and how to come out a man. I think you'd do good at that. Okay, so let me get into why I'm doing this video now. On Thursday of last week, it is Tuesday the 1st, by the way, happy July, I was having a fat chick moment. Depressed, sitting in my chair. I had about I think it was a gallon or half gallon of Nestle Toll House ice cream, necking the whole thing. And I turned the TV on and there was Dom. I was not a subscriber to his channel. I was once for a minute, going back several months. What he was talking about was a guy named Hippie, Mikey Zanfordino, whatever it is. I call Mike, yell at my wife, you guys call him Hippie. On June the 19th, I got a phone call from a friend who's in that life out there. I know two made guys that I talked to. One not happy with me, one is tickled to death out of the stuff I'm putting out. The call was about actually Danny, Fama, and Mikey, and said exactly what Dom did as far as Hippie. That is, he's jumped out on speedballs, mixing cocaine and heroin. I was a little bit, I heard that. I didn't really, whatever. I had somebody tell me that I really did damage to him with that video, and others say nothing. My intent was nothing more than what I put out in that video. And actually to prove to Jeff Canarsie what a moron he is for saying that mob guys don't listen or talk to guys who do junk. By the way, when it comes to junk, Sammy, tell us. Hit it, Sammy.
I heard about John Gotti. He was in prison. McBratney murder. Him and Angelo Ruggiero were in prison.
Right.
He was in prison. And in prison, some guy I knew had trouble with the black guys. Something about buying or selling drugs and money. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
He's talking about John Gotti there, by the way, people. So a mob guy got himself in debt with the black guy. Okay? That's in the 70s, people. Mob guys on junk. Now I know there'll be people that say, yeah, there's been mob guys doing junk of all times. No. Mob guys look down on everybody else. When guys in the mob do junk in prison, they're not supposed to know, it's on the down low, and they circle each other. try to keep it hush hush. That's a fact. Now let's get back to Dom. Dom. I've long said that I am not some rat hater. I am not. I'm from a don't snitch culture. There was no guns and violence in my life growing up. None. I dealt drugs starting at a very early age. No problems. Not a street guy, no guns, no shooting, no nothing. Okay? Make that clear. What I have a problem with is guys that cooperate and then try to lay it out like why they did it. For example, Jimmy Calandra said they killed his friend Paulie G. Wiz. Paulie G. Wiz was like the head of their little Bath Avenue crew, got whacked while Jimmy was in prison. And Jimmy says that Jimmy Calandra, who's facing the death penalty, by the way, says that he really dropped out of that life because of what they did to Paulie, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want to ruin his life. But after cooperating, he got out, went to Pittsburgh, and was in the drug life and tried to get into driving a guy around who was a member of organized crime or whatever. He wanted to stay in that life. Jimmy misses that life. When I look at Dom Chicali, I'm amazed. Chicali, I think it is. When I look at Dom Mafia Roundtable, it amazes me. What I see is this. I do believe, I don't know why he told, but I do believe that he changed his life and is somebody different. I don't believe that he glorifies the mob, even when he tells stories. It also fascinates me that he apparently knows a lot about the inner workings and what's going on today in the mafia. Active mob guys out there, do you guys not have hackers? We are told you guys are now into computers, stocks, don't you have any basic hackers? You mean to tell me there's not an investigation going on who's telling Dom what's going on? You guys can't hack phones and do that? I'm not advocating, I'm just saying it makes you guys even look worse. It does. Dom apparently has inside information on a lot of stuff. So does that Jeff dude, I guess. They're saying that there is going to be old murders popping up, people going down, people wearing wires. If there's people wearing wires and you're talking to Maid Bob, anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. But my point is, I do believe that Dom has changed. Now I'm gonna get to Gene Borrello. I first heard of Gene Borrello in 2023 when I was doing a violation. He had been violated at the same time I did, and either Lee Cole, this channel, this one guy that used to chase around Sammy the Bull, and his friend James Proctor, they did something and they mentioned me and Gene in the same thing. Last year I went back to on a violation. I'm done with paper now, so there'll be no more violations. And one of my friends got into with Gene, and I did a little video and I said something, but I didn't even know who Gene was. Never even really seen Gene until the other day. And let me tell you, when I started watching him, I was hooked. Gene Borrello has got a gift. He is a smart guy. Now, I will say this. For about 2 days, I had Jimmy Calandra rose-colored glasses on. Meaning, when I first watched Jimmy Calandra, the Bath Avenue guy, who was good friends with Paulie G. Wiz, I loved his stories. Because I was good friends with Tommy Reynolds in prison, all the stories that Jimmy was talking about, I had previously heard. So it was like cool seeing that, even though he was a rat. But then I started paying closer attention, and I realized he was a fraud. Gene, I don't know anything about the guy's background, and I called up a friend and I said, dude, I'm in love with Gene Borrello right now. Not in a weird, I mean, if it was like that, if I was like that, yeah, he'd make a good bottom, but not in that kind of a way, right? But I was like, wow, this dude's good. And I'm like, but tell me something. Did he kill anybody? He's like, no, but he says he did in a prison fight. If that's true, and Gene claims that he did that to someone in a prison fight, no, he didn't. Because everybody knows when that happens to somebody in prison, they know who did it. Fact, okay? So, I'm watching Gene, and I realized he shot a lot of bullets, but didn't do much, I think. and then shot a kid or something. And then I was like, what is the deal with this guy? My favorite thing Gene ever said, Gene Borrello said, was this. Go.
When I was a mob guy with all my mob guys,
That mob guys, when I was a mob guy, my mob guy, I was like, what? One more time.
When I was a mob guy with all my mob guys, you.
Okay, so I just think that's really funny. But Gene and Joey Merlino, Skinny Joey, the Skinny, what's his channel? The Skinny. They have a beef going on YouTube right now that is really, really entertaining, okay? Joey, you made a comment about people using your name, you get views. You're absolutely right. This video was going to be a live because this would have been a good live to bounce off of, but I wanted to throw the little clips in there for added effect. That's why I'm doing a video about it. And again, the whole Gene Borrello thing. Gene, you're 41. By the way, you said something about 25 years old. Yeah, 23, bro. Anyway, yeah, and who wants to listen to Miley and Taylor and all that shit anyway? So anyways, anyway, I just had to throw that out there. 23. 55, by the way, you're 41. And I'm fat, bald, and hairy. Missing a tooth right here. I got a partial. But just saying, big player, a lot of money, apparently talks about money a lot. A lot of New York guys are, I mean, I wish I can talk about money too. When I talk about like highs and lows and going broke, I'm talking about from 100 to 1,000, you know? He's talking about millions. But a lot of New York guys like to throw on that money thing. It's cool, really. It's like a rapper. It's like a rapper that has on the video cards that are not really theirs. Although I do think Gene's probably doing well. Whatever, I do. The thing going on with him and Joey, is it staged? Because Joey's sidekick, I forgot his name. I'm not being disrespectful. He's asking people to sub to Gene's channel. Who, by the way, Gene's channel getting views that are off the charts. The dude's gonna blow up. Gene Borrello is gonna blow up. And I'm gonna tell you guys, to the people that are anti-rat, and I'm not some rat supporter, okay? I just don't have that deep-seated hatred. Now I'm gonna get into the word rat in a minute. More people in this world can identify with rats than not. There are people that would like to be like us, who didn't tell, who can look in the mirror in prison, even though we're getting older and still feel like we're stand-up guys. But that's just not the case. Most people would not. Most people would never, ever, give up a 5-year sentence instead of getting life. Most people would never turn down a 2-year sentence and not cooperate. That the normal Joe would never do that. So I believe that people identify with government cooperator channels more for that reason. Then there's guys like Joey, who it's fascinating to see somebody who the government alleges this or that and is on YouTube just going, that I think it's pretty. I mean, it's YouTube gold, and what those two are doing together right now in that beef, it's YouTube gold. Gene Borrello's YouTube gold, for real. He is. Say what you want, he is. But when you talk a lot on YouTube, you actually can get exposed for a lot of things as well. Again, I don't know what Gene has ever done, and I question, and I cannot figure out, but I haven't asked around, why did he cooperate? In the soft white underbelly interview that you did, Gene, you skip over that part. You skip over. You just say that one day they brought you to a fake visit and then you cooperated. It's not just like that. But hell, I mean, maybe you're smarter than most for cooperating. Look at the life now. Dom can get information from made guys and nothing happens. Sammy's running around fine. Jimmy's running around fine. Everybody's running around fine. The only person that wasn't fine, I guess, when Gene kind of got ran out of Howard Beach by some kids or something. But, shit happens. I mean, I got punched in the mouth by Black. I just did a video about it. Shit happens, Can't criticize him for that. Making money, that's what it's about, right? So, I want to get back to this rat thing now. The word rat is so watered down. What does it really mean anymore? Junior Gotti sat down and was queen for the day with the government. Gave a lot of information. Nobody was arrested because of that, apparently. Sat down with the government and gave them information. I know a guy out of Philadelphia, we used to call Nick the chemist or Nick the Greek. I forgot, you guys out of Philly know who he was. Big meth cook back in the day. Yeah, Philadelphia, big meth cook area. Surprising, right? He cooperated with the government by telling them how he got chemicals into the country. And didn't tell on nobody. Told them how he got chemicals legally. Is that a rat? Did he rat? He sat down with the government, right? When it comes to YouTube, people call me a rat for saying stuff on YouTube. Hootie and Gene Borrello called Joey a rat for talking on YouTube. You can say that. Are people going to prison because of it? Michael Francis, former Columbo, who I know for a fact was going to get got because he was shining too bright. True story. That's really what happened to Michael. He shined too bright. You cannot, anybody who was trying to outshine Persico, stupid move. He sent somebody to prison. He says he didn't, but whatever. Then you got Sammy, who cooperated with the government, but then he was on YouTube. I just watched a YouTube with him where he didn't want to talk about the shooters and the Paul Castellano hit. Why wouldn't you want to say that now? Biggest rat in American history doesn't want to talk about, I can't talk about that life. Stop it. Getting back to Gene and Hootie saying about rats on YouTube. Yeah, whatever. Nobody has gone to prison because of anything I say, and I have my basic policy when it comes to YouTube, if policy is the right word, whatever happened in prison that people knew about is YouTube material. Prison is not Vegas. Whatever happens in prison doesn't stay in prison. Never has, never will. Now YouTube has exposed it more. But I don't have a problem with people saying rat. Joey Merlino is old school, and the word rat really means something to him. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or it's a fact. I get it. What's the word rat mean anymore? Very, very few people are harmed over cooperating. Not a lot. We are told in rap music culture, stop snitching, but the biggest snitches are usually leaders. El Chapo, the whole organization knew, nobody cared. You guys talked about it, Gene and Hootie. People don't care about rats if they're not ratting on them. In the drug circles, so when I got out of prison, I succumbed back to my addictive ways. It was around petty drug circles, if you will. Everybody involved is an informant, former informant. People don't care as long as they're getting drugs. People don't care in cartels that they have systems to rat on people because money's being made. People don't care if members of the mob or street guys, whatever, tell. They might run their mouths about it, but in the end, nobody's really getting hurt. And I'm not saying that they should. I'm just pointing out some facts for real. And I want to say something else that Gene and Hootie were talking about. You guys were questioning something about Jimmy Coonan not getting out. How did Joey Testa get out? How did Anthony Center get out? How did those guys get out? Jimmy Coonan doesn't talk to staff. Joey Testa had Stockholm Syndrome, which then became more. I know for a fact in 2007, he was filing a compassionate release based on his cancer back then. He had 7 letters from staff members. The call I got on June the 15th from a former staff member at Terre Haute said that Joey came in telling. Well, the guy liked Joey a lot. All staff members liked Joey a lot. 100%. Joey gave information the whole time he was in prison. And I don't know why he didn't cooperate on the street as much as he cooperated in prison. I'm lost. So to answer you guys' question, Hootie and Gene, Joey got out because he cooperated. Center was a junkie in prison. He was a junk box, as you guys would say. When he got his dirty Lompoc for heroin, the only person that didn't know he was junked out was Carmine, who advocated tough for him. Anthony swore to Carmine. He didn't know what happened. It must have jumped in the bottle. I didn't know what happened. And that kind of made Carmine look foolish. A lot of people, Lompoc knew. Everybody knew but Carmine that Anthony was on the shit. Nothing wrong with being on the shit, Anthony. I get it. I feel the pain. But that's how, I don't know how Anthony got out. They were old law as well. There's a whole bunch of other stipulations. Jimmy Coonan, I'm not surprised he didn't get out. It's like Tommy Crotty probably won't get out. He should. If those other guys got out. You guys got weird shit going on in New York anyway. I know people that got bodies in New York and got like 19 years. You get a body in Arkansas, you're gonna get like the death penalty. So you guys, I guess it depends on the jurisdiction too, right? What else do I need to add here that I'm missing? And I made notes. And let me see if I can pick some up real quick before I get off this. Oh, that's what you were saying. Pick and choose motherfuckers. It happens. Okay, so you guys are saying that pick and choose motherfuckers. So the guys that are out there ratting, guys will be cool to them. They pick and choose. Gene actually said that. And okay, I got into the Jimmy Coonan warning. You guys mentioned the Tommy Reynolds interview. Gene, you said something about he can't talk. I would leave all that alone. I would stay all the way away from that. Stick with Jimmy. But yeah, I would leave that alone all the way. Seriously, I'm just going to be real about that. Yeah, that's about it on that. Yeah, like I said, this would have been perfect for a live. And I put Joey Testa didn't just cooperate in prison. He became a cop in prison. Matter of fact, I think they're going to have BOP is going to start having an honorary Joey Testa day. Going to honor Joey Testa once a year from now on for the BOP for his fine cooperation. I don't know, maybe, whatever. I guess that's about it. Moral of the story, I'm glad that Gene, you said that mob guys, when you were a mob guy, mob friends, that they look down on everybody else. They do. Hence, one of the reasons I'm out exposing the guys that were marks in prison that were in the mob. Not even marks. The guys who people on the street think were somebody on the street were not necessarily somebody's in prison, and the ones I know I talk about or that my friends know. I put out there. It's content. It's part of mob history. Everybody wants to know everything that happens with members of the mob. And because I say what happens to them in prison, which, according to Dom, means everything.
You get to see the way the people are, the way they really act. And you find out who's who with the mafia. From your thugs to your just regular guys who try to portray being a thug. Their true colors come out when you're in the prison system.
You don't really see a guy's true colors. You don't see a mob guy's true colors until you go to prison, until they're in prison. So thanks for making that clear, Dom. One more time, Dom.
You get to see the way the people are, the way they really act. And you find out who's who with the mafia. From your thugs to your just regular guys who try to portray being a thug. Their true colors come out when you're in the prison system.
So that's why I'm here. To help you guys. Not to expose, I'm here to help. That's what I do, I help people. Okay, so that's about it. Like I said, this would have been a lot better of a live and would have gave me, place to go, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Gene, no matter what I say about you, dude, I think that you got a gift. I think that you're not done doing time for whatever it's worth. You're young, you've got another bit in you. And I guess, from what I understand, you can ask Sammy, PC isn't all that bad. But all bullshit aside, I know you go back and forth, and one of my friends said if I talk about you, to come back and actually said, hey, it'd be good for views and stuff. No, that's not my intent. That's not here. I've got videos coming every day this week. I got content for freaking backed up right now. So, anyway, have a good day. Bye.